woke up to the bell. I don't need no 9 to 5. Got charts on my mind. I just hold and ride. Yeah. Flip that red to green. I'm addicted to the screen. Grew up broke, now my candles looking clean. Broker calling like you play too wild, but I'm trendline loyal, that's my lifestyle. I see the dip, I don't panic, I reload. Margin call whispering, boy you bold. I don't chase hype, I manifest gold. Portfolio drip when my story's told. Give me that breakout, volumes right. Options hit, my weeks on site. Every candle's a vibe tonight. We just hold and ride. Hold and ride, we don't fold, we slide. Charts look alive when the bulls collide. From the lows to the highs, we just hold and ride, can't kill my vibe. Profit take it slow, while the gains multiply, let it roll. Don't hide, we just hold and ride. Bag check, yeah, I'm risking for the glory. Stop loss tight, that's the moral of the story. Cash flow king, no crown, no throne, but I built my empire on a metronome. Limit order set, I ain't stressing trends. Learn more from drawdowns than I did from wins. This ain't luck, this discipline. Got charts in my veins and greed in my grin. I lost some, I gained some, but I never stop showing up when the pain come. Cause every red day still feels right when I hold and ride, we don't fold, we slide. Charts look alive when the bulls collide. From the lows to the highs, we just hold and ride, can't kill my vibe. Profit taking slow while the gains multiply, let it roll. Don't hide, we just hold and ride.
Oh, brother, oh, brother. Folks, we are back to our regularly scheduled show. I don't know, whatever we're going to call it. Venting session. Folks, I know I sound like crap. Surprise, surprise. That's what 20 hours of nonstop traveling and flight delays and lack of sleep and just general hatred towards the entire airline industry is going to do to you. It was a rough trip back, but hey, we are here and I'm more excited to be here. It's just we're back into it. I've realized it. If you guys remember, what was it? Late June was the last time I got sick, and the only correlation between late June and right now is your boy does not do well with lack of sleep. I was like literally just running. It took me 20 hours of travel to get here because of flight delays of other people. So we couldn't take off in time because of a connecting flight that I guess they were being nice and waiting. But because of that, then I missed my flight. And then I found a flight later. And it was this whole thing. But I finally made it back here to New York in the wee hours of the morning. Basically a couple hours ago, popped a NyQuil to go to sleep, and then woke up a few hours after that to pop a DayQuil to hang out with you guys. So we're going to see how long my body can hold in on this one, but I guess I don't do well with sleep deprivation. I know there's some people in here that we all know in our lives who are just like, yeah, no, I sleep like 6 hours and it's fine, and they just like seemingly are not impacted by it, but for whatever reason, your boy does not have that ability whatsoever. But hey, let's not focus on that. Enough about me. Of course, when the market gets open, we could chit chat about Lugano. Shout out to Tether, shout out to Rumble, shout out to the Plan B forum. It is beautiful. That was my first time ever. Well, technically, it was my first time in Italy too, because I flew into Milan. So Milan up to Lugano is like an hour drive. Beautiful. Absolutely breathtaking, that area. I can kind of understand why a lot of Swiss people are just generically happy, not angry people, because it's really tough to be bummed out when you walk outside and it almost feels as if it's out of like a postcard. It's like that picturesque. It is that nice. So for any of you who are on the fence of like, should I go to Switzerland? Is it worth it? Well, yeah, if you are a person who likes to go outside, chat with some cool people, do some cool hikes, taking some, as I said, breathtaking views, is a good place to go. Absolutely beautiful. Obviously, the event itself put on by Tether, the Plan B Forum, a lot of great panelists, a lot of smart people. I found myself even just kind of bebopping around, checking in on the various panels, and it was really cool to hear legitimately from the experts in little sub niches such as like quantum computing and Bitcoin and mining and security and the history of finance. And it was just really cool to have a place of so many people together that were not only experts but also willing to share their knowledge. So across the board, it was awesome. Obviously, if you guys were able to check it out, we did repost some of these interviews. I had the opportunity to interview some of these smarty pants people while I was there. Raheem and Preston. I know many of you watching on Rumble, you're big fans of Viva. He's always a great guy. In fact, I hung out with him most of the time and we did some awesome hikes. That guy is so genuinely nice and as charismatic as he comes across on camera. In person, he's even better, which is a crazy thing to say. But with all that, it was a great experience, great time, super fun. Feels more exciting. I had alerts popping off about Bitcoin, I guess, overnight. I think we're trading 115, 116,000, so we're that far away from a new all-time high. The equities market is at a new all-time high, and then obviously commodities just keep going and going and going. So the timing of it working out very well. But if you're waking up this morning and you're checking your pre-market and you're realizing, why is everything green? Well, we have a lot of big movement in terms of the U.S.-China trade talks, and obviously the market is perceiving all this commentary to be very good. So that's why we are literally gapping up once again to new all-time highs. So I'll be breaking that down. Then we're going to get into a little bit of individual equity news. Of course, we're going to be breaking down what you should be paying attention to for the remainder of the week. We are in earnings season. So on top of all the major macroeconomic events, don't forget, also we are in earnings season. Very important. So we're going to be chit-chatting about that. And then, of course, right before the bell opens, we're going to get into the key levels where we see those major open interest levels, like the big guys, where they're at. Are they actually right now? It's crazy bullish. Everyone in the Discord already knows because we did a little bit of a breakdown there of where's the positive gamma, where's the negative gamma. But the TLDR is this, especially maybe you're busy, whatever, driving your kids to school. Price action, momentum, options flow, and option structure, all four. And we also have a very positive narrative with the US and China. All five of those things put together, I would argue, strongly favors the bull camp. But, and this is a very important thing, do not forget about the statistics of downside gap fills. Please do not forget about the fact that when we pop up, especially to the size that we are right now, a lot of people, not necessarily retail, but some retail is going to do it, institutions, high frequency traders, hedge funds, all that stuff. When you're up that much, they like to take some profits off the table. So I just want to remind everyone about the potential of a downside gap fill. Will it happen? Won't it happen? I don't know, but I just want to put it out there because I find that when you're leaning into one of your biases way too strong, it might make you a little bit blind to the other things coming, or like the potential of an adverse situation playing out. So I just want to call that out to everyone. Even though things are setting up to be so incredibly strong, nothing's ever a given. There's no such thing as a guarantee. And on this show alone, we've talked quite a bit about downside gap fills, upside gap fills. And today there is a downside gap fill on SPX, NDX, SPY, QQQ, all that stuff. So we will be getting into it. But we're back. We're going to have our normal schedule. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you guys holding down the fort while I was gone. And let's see what in the world is going on in the market today. Dow futures rallied 200 points on potential China trade truce. That is obviously the very big news of this morning. And you can see the SPY is gapping up 0.84%. The Qs are gapping up 1.3%. Gold is down 2%. And Bitcoin's actually around 115,000, up about 0.5%. But remember, that's not based from Friday. That's literally just based from yesterday because it is a 24-hour market. So what's a little bit more exciting about Bitcoin is the fact that it's bouncing off 105,000. So not long ago, getting a nice $10,000 bounce. So across the board, the bulls are clearly in control. And remember, the market is a forward-looking mechanism. And basically right now it's taking on the concept of, looks like we're going to get this trade deal done. Trump says the U.S.-China close to trade deal ahead of the Xi talks and TikTok decision. So we know that there's been a lot of foreplay, if you will, going into this. And we know the most recent discussion was from the Treasury Secretary and the Chinese Vice Premier. I believe those are the official titles, kind of laying the foundation and the framework for what these meetings and talks were going to be. Apparently, at least what's being reported to the public, everyone's saying, hey, yeah, it's actually looking pretty good right now. Recently, from Air Force One, President Trump was saying that Washington and Beijing were poised to come away with a trade deal after he expected meeting with Chinese leader Xi Jinping. I have a lot of respect for President Xi, and we were going to come away with the deal. So a lot of optimism, especially from the U.S. side, and you can see that being perfectly reflected within the market. Trump signed a separate trade and mineral agreements with Malaysia and Cambodian counterparts. So right now, I believe as of today, I was looking at the schedule, he's actually in Japan. So I just want to also put that on your radar. That is somewhat of a large trade partner. So we might be getting, hopefully, fingers crossed, positive updates related to Japan. But right now, very evident that in one manner or another, Trump is doing kind of a bit of an Asian tour. Obviously, we're getting deals done ideally with China, but then from there, Malaysia, Cambodia, Japan's on the docket for today. So pay attention to whatever's going on there. Very, very important. Malaysia agreed to refrain from banning or imposing quotas on exports to the U.S. of critical minerals. So if you remember, what was it, 1 week or 2 weeks ago? I don't know. I don't really believe in the linear nature of time anymore. A lot of it had to do with this rare earth stuff. Global stocks rally as investors are upbeat on U.S.-China trade pact prospects. That's pretty evident right there, the TLDR. But there are still some questions. Latest U.S.-China trade truce leaves fundamental issues unresolved. So it's small uncertainties. I don't like that headline that much because like just reading it, you're going to be like, oh, wow, no, that sounds like there's a lot we still have to do. And I guess that we're at the point of how are you going to define a lot. But it seems like we're making incredible progress. And remember, the stock market is predicting where we're going, not where we are in real time. So clearly the market is saying, hey, pretty confident that we're going to get this done. And because we're getting it done, some of the stocks that were ripping last week, 2 weeks ago, are now completely plummeting. Rare earth stocks tumble as U.S. expects China to delay export controls. This is classic supply demand, folks. Before, when there were issues, the equilibrium, i.e. price, is going to get driven through the roof. But now that tensions, if you will, are calming down, well, all of a sudden, those stocks maybe not going to be as valuable. But anyway, here's what Bloomberg had to say.
And ahead of that all-important meeting between Trump and Xi that's expected in Korea later this week, we, of course, have been hearing from the U.S. and Chinese trade negotiators, and they have been engaged in talks for the past 2 days in Malaysia and ironing out a couple of contentious issues. We're hearing from the U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. He says 100% tariffs now off the table. We also have him talking about how the Chinese are expected to increase their soybean purchases. But of course, the key one that everyone has been watching out for as well is rare earths and those export restrictions. He thinks that could be delayed for some time to come. Have a listen.
Not much of a listen, just a little bit.
Those soybeans were always going to be on the market. It's a global market. The three leading suppliers are Brazil, Argentina, and the U.S. And I believe that we have brought the market back into equilibrium. And I believe that the Chinese will be making substantial purchases again.
Right there. So Bessent, remember, he was already speaking with somewhat of his counterpart, once again, the Chinese vice premier. So that was like the big setup going into what we're anticipating this week of Trump and Xi meeting in South Korea. A lot of moving parts. On the flip side, bringing it back a little bit to North America, Trump says he won't resume Canada trade talks for a while. So Trump very, very pissed off at our neighbors from the north. I don't know if you guys saw this last week on True Social here. Canada was caught red-handed putting up fraudulent advertisement of Ronald Reagan's speech on tariffs. It goes and goes and goes. This was posted on the 25th and just not happy with China. In fact, right here, you could see a 10% additional tariff. Trump slaps 10% extra tariff on Canada over Reagan trade ad. So basically getting pissed off about the ad, slapping them with a 10% tariff, and then basically saying, hey, we're not going to be talking right now. So I do find this whole thing a little confusing because in terms of trade, yeah, Canada has some leverage, but on a relative amount, it really doesn't, guys. And the fact that they want to, I guess, needle the president of the U.S., President Trump, it just seems like, just from a pure math number standpoint, it feels like a really, really dumb decision. And now at this point, it sounds like maybe some of the communication lines are going to be a little bit quiet as he is once again kind of negotiating with more impactful trading partners. So another thing, obviously, to pay attention to, more specific to us and this week and not really global political news. We're getting a little bit closer, obviously, with the government shutdown stuff to ideally it not being a thing. In fact, where are we at with poly market and the government shutdown? What is the current odds? I'll check on Kohrs as well. How many days, I guess, is it Kohrs that has that? Does anyone know off the top of their head the Kohrs government shutdown, like what the day length is at? Markets still forecast record-breaking government gets when will the U.S. government reopen? How long? This one. I think this is the correct one. Okay, we're up to 45.5 days. So when Hassett spoke, I just got kicked out. But anyway, 45.5 days. So it's slowly but surely growing. For a second there, it was above 40. Hassett was teasing a week ago, last Monday, that they might resolve it this week. So for a second there, the odds dipped. And obviously, slowly but surely, they've been climbing back up. So at this point, and once again, this is very dynamic. It's growing day after day. But at this point, it does seem as if we're going into mid-November, which means that when we get to this FOMC meeting on Wednesday, October the 29th, they're basically flying dark. Technically, we got that CPI report last Friday coming in cooler than expected, which is solidifying the fact that we're going to get a 25 bips rate cut. But what's going to be interesting is the upcoming commentary of, are they going to keep cutting even though we're not really getting any of the jobs number? Remember, as a government shutdown, we're not getting anything really from the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So technically, they did give us the CPI number, but there's a whole other host of information that they're using, quote unquote, private companies to try to get that information from. But it's not the real McCoy. So it'll be interesting. But obviously, that's going to be the major thing of this week is the Fed interest rate decision, Wednesday, October the 29th. We do have consumer confidence tomorrow. We did have durable goods this morning. And then fast forward to Thursday, we're going to get the GDP report and we're going to get the PCE report on Friday to wrap up the week and the month. So it's going to be a busy week. It's going to actually be a crazy, crazy busy week in terms of data drops and news, obviously referring to we're going to get updates of how the talks go with President Xi and President Trump. So a lot of binary situations that could have a pretty crazy impact on it. And just very quickly, speaking of the fact that we have an FOMC meeting this week, it starts tomorrow, goes to Wednesday. We get the results at 2. Jerome Powell will be speaking at 2:30. We do have a short list of names of who might be controlling the Fed after the May of 2026.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent confirming 5 finalists to succeed Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Bloomberg's Jill Desus joins us now. So Jill, it is 5 names that have been making the rounds for some time. I guess Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent took his own name out of the running and he says we'll know by the end of the year.
Yeah, Vonnie, I think that timing on this idea of a decision expected by the end of the year, that's really kind of the operative news here. I mean, a lot of the names that we heard Bessent talk about in terms of these potential candidates, people like Christopher Waller, Michelle Bowman, so current members of the Fed. He also had mentioned Kevin Hassett, the White House National Economic Director. We've also got former Fed Governor Kevin Warsh, as well as BlackRock executive Rick Rieder. So, I mean, again, these are names that have been floating around for quite a while, and some of them have even really been floated, by Trump as potential candidates here. So really, I think the big thing here that we're hearing from Bessent, this idea that we could get a decision by the end of the year. Obviously, we've got a Fed meeting upcoming, but I think, more importantly than that, if there is some kind of a decision from the White House, an announcement on who they want to put forth as their next Fed chair, that does leave a certain period of time where you do still have Powell as the operative Fed chairman going into 2026 before he ultimately leaves, where you've got some overlap between, who the White House is positioning and then obviously Powell leaving, but as we've seen over the last year, even beyond, there's just such a tense relationship here between Trump and Powell. So I think, you might continue to see Trump get a little bit more vocal but yeah, obviously operative there is maybe by the end of the year, we see who the White House wants to be the next Fed chairman.
So one thing to add on to that, and it's not really going to impact our day trading, scalp trading, or probably even our shorter term swing trades. But what I find fascinating is, did you guys know that even though Jerome Powell's, I guess, position as Fed chair is going to be ending in May, his tenure as an FOMC Fed member will not, as in he can keep going. So that's kind of the question they've been asking him. They're like, are you just going to completely step down? And he hasn't given a direct answer. But there is a situation in which Powell stays around. In fact, like that's actually the default situation, if that makes sense. Like he would actively have to step down and completely be removed from the Fed, because even though the chair position technically ends in May of 26, his overall tenure is longer and longer. So could be interesting. Excuse me. Why does my throat feel so fucking scratchy? Remember, this is also earnings season. In fact, this upcoming week is going to be the most impactful in terms of the largest percentage size of the S&P 500 is reporting this week. We have pretty much every single name. We have big names, or every single day we have big names. You're going to get Waste Management, Bed Bath & Beyond today, SoFi, United Health Group, PayPal, UPS tomorrow, Wednesday, Verizon, Boeing, CVS, Caterpillar, Meta, Microsoft, Alphabet, aka Google, Chipotle, Carvana. Later on this week, Amazon, Apple, Coinbase, Reddit, MicroStrategy, which actually just bought more Bitcoin, Roblox, Riot, Cloudflare. The list just goes on and on and on. And then this Friday, we have a lot of energy names. So literally every single day of this week, there's a good chance there's a company reporting that you might want to be paying a little bit attention to. Speaking of which, we got some crazy news related to GameStop today. I cannot believe I am saying this, but GameStop is currently up 4.5% in pre-market trading. It closed out the day on Friday at 23.30. It's currently trading at 24.34. And 1 point in pre-market trading, it was actually up even more. It had to pop up to 25. And it was all because of this. This is from the White House right here. GameStop. All right, let me show you the lore. GameStop declares the console wars over. And then that was from the official GameStop account. And then from the official White House account, power to the players, with President Trump holding, or dressed in what was his name in Halo? It's been a while since I ever played Halo 3, but he has that sword. Like, what world are we living in, folks? Like, this is just crazy. But anyway, we haven't talked about it in a minute because GameStop hasn't moved in a minute. But I guess the White House is now here with GME. So I did not in any way think I'd be reporting on this morning, but here we are. If you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter, mattquarz.locals.com. My mod will drop it in chat. It's in the description of the video. You get a breakdown of what's going on in the market, cheat sheet for earnings, cheat sheet for all the major macroeconomic events. Today, the thing you might want to care about is at 10 a.m. we're getting the new home sales report. And then with respect to seasonality, today's a little bit bearish. Tomorrow's bullish. Wednesday's neutral. Thursday's neutral. And then Friday's leaning bullish. So not that crazy. If you look at it on that website, Equity Clock, the end of October is a little choppy. It's not crazy bullish. It's not crazy bearish in an aggregate sense. And then from there, November, basically most of November heading up into Thanksgiving is just dominantly bullish. So I just want to call that out to everyone. All right. With respect to today, let me show you what's going on with SPX. And let me go to the daily here. So on Friday, we hit a new all-time high of 6,807. And looking at pre-market, we are going to be gapping up to 6,850. So we're clearing it by a nice 40 points. We're going to be opening up pretty much where my cursor is. You could probably see it better here on the 10-minute. Pretty much right here at 850. So yes, that means that the bulls dominantly in control. I mean, like I said, we are currently looking to gap up. We gained 0.8% on Friday. It's another 0.8% in pre-market trading. But I do want to call out here. Let me show you this. These are just all the key levels I'll be watching, as I always do. If this is your first time in the show, the green, the red, and the white are the previous trading sessions, high, low, and close. Then I have this downside gap fill, just because if you go back to the daily chart, you can see that we gap from Thursday to Friday, and now we're going to have another gap. So we're going to have a double gapper type of a situation. So please, please, please be mindful of that. I get it. Price structure, momentum, options flow, and options momentum, well, really the structure there as well. It's all bullish, but from a technical perspective, there are going to be many people playing the new downside gap fill and also the one that existed from Thursday to Friday. This one happened because of the CPI report, and generally those have worse odds than just normal, quote unquote, normal gaps. When it's news driven, the odds of an immediate fill do drop. They're still strong, but they're not as strong as like quote unquote normal gap. So you could, in a certain sense, argue the gap we're seeing today is because of news, but I wouldn't be doing my job as your favorite, I don't know, finance stream news breaking guy to let you guys know that you have to be mindful of these downside gap fills. There's going to be some profit taking most likely. So for this, I've been swinging calls on SPY, QQQ, and I think I have one still on NDX. I'm going to hold it, but if I see any profit taking, I'm just going to be taking my money off the table and wait for the downside gap fill and then just reload from that point. So that's kind of my base plan, but overall, things are looking clearly strong. I do want to let you know that these yellow lines are the major open interest levels. You can see that here. We have this little range of negative gamma from 6830 to 6855. Positive gamma up there, positive gamma right here. You have big support at 6825. So that's not technically the gap fill. The gap fill is 6791. So we'd have to break through this support to get the gap fill. Obviously possible, maybe not the most likely bet, but just be careful. This is clearly the transition zone because you have a bit of negative gamma there on a 0 DTE basis. And even though the full map has negative gamma up there, there's a lot of calls sold in this zone. So as we push up and up and up, it's probably going to be more of a quicksand type area. And I just want to point out the biggest positive gamma node to the north side is 6875, while the biggest one to the south side is 6825. I'm of the opinion that you definitively need to have those marked out on your charts today. Once again, 6825, 6875 with the downside gap fill at 6791. Excuse me. Looking at the SPY, you might want to watch 683. We're trying to get above 670, or actually, where are we right now? 683. Well, hang on. Actually, let me show you this right here. SPY 683. Check this out. The high vol point, exactly 683. So I would say the next positive one is 688, maybe paying attention to, but there's no surprise that we are opening exactly at this level. And then with respect to the NASDAQ 625, well, that is all the way over here. And there's really nothing else going on. Maybe 630 you could throw on your chart if you're watching QQQ and not NQ. There's just not much going on up there. There's not many players. So just wanted to give you those levels. Once again, shout out to Spot Gamma. But just be mindful of the potential profit taking right at market open. We've seen it a lot, and you just got to be ready for it. You got to be prepared. And it's one thing if you already have a position, you're like, okay, I'm going to let it sit for a second. Maybe like we have a push before a little bit of profit taking. That's possible. I think a better way to really use that information is more so to not be chasing it to the upside after like a double gap type of a situation. Generally in the world of trading, it is patience that pays. And there's not too many times in my trading career where I'm so happy the second I saw something, I just chased it right out of the gate. It just doesn't really seem to, for whatever, play out that way. We'll throw up GameStop just for market open because the president's talking about it. What else do you guys want here? What do you guys want in the bottom right? What do you guys want down here? What's catching your eye in pre-market for stuff that is moving, not moving? I know GameStop was obviously, in terms of equities, a popular one. Nvidia might be hitting a new all-time high this week. Microsoft is looking pretty good. Apple's looking pretty decent. Tesla's trying to make a recovery from Friday. Palantir's also knocking on the door of a breakout at 190. AMD, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of green across the board. Even Hood is looking pretty good. We'll throw up Tesla for now. I'm more than happy to change this. I just wanted to get a little bit prepped for Market Open. Speaking of which, Market Open is brought to you by Public. It is pinned to the top of chat. It's in the description of the video. And this is the disclosure you should read because it is a brokerage. So when you are trading, there is risk. So I implore you to read it. It's also in the description of the video. But you guys know Public is my main brokerage. I have multiple six figures with them. It's for good reason. It's because if I'm trading options, why would I not want to get the rebate? Compared to all these other brokerages, it blows my mind when people aren't using Public. Every single time you trade an option, you'll be earning a rebate. There's no commission fees. There's no per contract fees on stocks and ETFs. They have bond trading. They have stock trading with no payment for order flow. They have crypto trading. They have high yield accounts. They have retirement accounts. This is what you need. So I get it. Maybe you're just used to being on another brokerage just because you are. But remember, you can have multiple brokerages And I really deeply believe as soon as you check this out, remember it's free to download, free to sign up. Click around on the platform, and I think you're going to realize that, like, why I like it as much as I do. But this one, the fact that you can earn rebates for every single options contract you trade, doesn't matter if it's calls or puts, doesn't matter if you're buying or selling, and you could even earn more rebates at a linear level if you're trading things like iron condors, because that's now 4 legs. So now you're going from normal, whatever, long call to iron condors, going 4x in terms of the rebate. So very cool opportunity. It is pinned to the top of chat. It's in the description of the video. Highly recommend you use that link, because you're going to start out at a higher rebate tier. It's kind of a gradual system, and the more you trade, you get higher and higher rebates. So if you want to start out at a higher one, make sure you use that link pinned to the top of a chat. And on that note, dingity ding ding ding, the world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly, and if not, have fun. All right, I don't feel like standing anymore, so we're going to sit down. Now that the casino's open, it's time to take our seat. Look at the NASDAQ go. Look at that thing rip. Am I back in frame? It looks like it. All right, so we're watching the 50 level. Remember, the transition zone is up to 860 on SPX, and then from there, the big one that we might be chatting about pretty soon here, it seems, is 6875. That is the largest positive gamma node on a 0 DTE basis to the north side. So I'm going to be closely watching that. You have GameStop already getting hit. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing goes red, just because it's not being driven by like any true fundamental catalyst. It's just more of internet hype, if you will. How's that Orbo strategy working? So I put a pause to it while I was in Switzerland, but I still kept tracking it, and it actually would have hit every day. But I want to clarify, not the initial Orbo one that we talked about. You have to have a little bit of a bias filter on it, basically just showing on a basic trend. So when I talk about basic filters, right here, you can see all these EMAs. That's what this is on the screen. It's the EMAs for the 5 minute, the 10 minute, the 30 minute, and the 4 hour. You can see it here on NQ. When I'm talking about price momentum, I'm basically talking about, is price above or below all those exponential moving averages? So what's been working, and I kind of knew this beforehand as we talked about it, what works on it is trading in the same direction. Only trade the Orbo breakout if it happens in the same way as momentum. Those are where the odds actually get interesting. If you're just taking every Orbo breakout, and some are with momentum and some are against momentum, in the long term, it's not going to be net profitable. It will be if you have a super small target, but that's only a theoretical thing, because in reality, you're going to have slippage. So when you, in practice, you probably couldn't make that profitable to take every single Orbo breakout. So in general, you can make Orbo breakouts or breakdowns, just the Orbo break. You can make it profitable. You just have to know which ones to skip, basically. Tesla's getting a nice pump out of the gate, while GameStop is getting dumped on already. All right. Well, while we're waiting for the... Oh, I didn't show you guys. I did not show you. I haven't traded. I was trading when I was in Switzerland. As you can see, the accounts are looking pretty good. I have 15 accounts that are all pretty much anywhere between $4,000 and $5,000. So I was doing some manual trading in Switzerland. This was not systematic trading. I did not bring my right computer to do systematic trading, but I made a good chunk. Once again, that is not maxed out. I do have 5 accounts right here that are all fresh ones at 50K, because what had happened when I left you, 5 was pretty weak, and then on Tuesday itself, I forget what happened, but anyway, at some point in Switzerland, I traded 5 to pass the test, and then I've just been sitting on those while I was actively trading the 15 that have already some profit in it. So they're up 5K each. So 15 accounts up 5K. So basically, when I was in Switzerland, what's that? About $75,000 across all the accounts total. So haven't traded obviously on them today. Just kind of waiting around. I'm gonna wait for this market to open and see what in the world is going on. But let's see. Let's see what kind of opportunity we either do or don't have. And do I need to do a little bit of management at some point today? Maybe gold is down 2%. Gold, how's gold's daily chart? Yeah, so we did whatever today's intraday high is going to be the new all-time high, just to be very clear for the S&P 500. Gold, not really. I saw this on Thursday when I was traveling, and I got this alert of like, oh, maybe it's bouncing back a little bit here. Looks a little weak, kind of looks a little bit range bound. You might want to watch that for all the gold bugs. You might want to watch that, all the gold bugs in here. What an absolute tear gold went on, though. Absolutely crazy. Truly crazy. Well, we're still in the transition zone. Seems like we're battling it out at 6850, so just wait on that. Just please be careful. We know that the transition zone is down to 25. Snapping that transition zone, I could see that as being a tough task because there's a lot of positive gamma right here at 6825. But in the event that we do, and maybe it happens later on, just please be mindful. You have the natural psychological target of 6,800, and then you have the downside gap fill to 6792. 6792. And as I alluded to a little bit earlier, it was on Tuesday of last week. I actually had a call in to execute these orders. That's when like the AWS thing happened. But I do have SPY and Q calls. So my SPY position in totality is up 76%. It's up about 12K. My Q position, you could see it was actually down as of Friday. And because of this gap up, I am net green. I might dump these at some point today. If it doesn't catch itself pretty soon, because then I could always reestablish at the downside gap fill. Maybe I should just do it. Take the money while the money's good to be taken. Because it's also within this week. So even that, like I kind of want to roll it out for more time anyway. So there's two things to consider right here. I'm going to give it a little bit. Granted, we're only 5 or 6 minutes in, and I don't want to be too early with it. It would be nice if I could actually, if we got this pump to 75, I could dump there and then maybe later on this week do something like re-establish my calls at the downside gap fill. Well, there's 2 downside gap fills to pay attention to. You have a downside gap fill here. You have a downside gap fill at 6807.11, and you have a downside gap fill at 6749.53. Wouldn't mind locking in here. You never know what happens, and then maybe just reestablishing it. Something to consider. Just a couple thoughts going through my mind, but I feel like I should manage those at some point today because beyond the technical setup with those downside gap fills, I just don't like having options that expire that week. So like just even the concept of rolling it out, even if there were no downside gap fills or anything like that, I would just with me and my trading style, I would feel a little bit of pressure to be getting out anyway, just because theta, like every single day I hold it, it's just going to get more and more cumbersome to swing overnight due to theta decay. So I just found out today on TPT, you can't play different directions on different accounts. It's a violation. That's true for almost everyone. I actually don't know a brokerage that isn't breaking the rule. That would be such an evident way to game the system. Of course, that's going to be a rule. Interesting. Thanks for the info. I didn't know that. Kind of makes it all more socially too interesting. I don't know if that's in reference to me. I have no idea if that's in reference to me. I'm praying for my Tesla position to go green. I mean, it's looking good intraday trading. How's the daily chart? Yeah, I mean, it had that nice day on Thursday, got hit a little bit on Friday, but overall, I see consolidation. I mean, really, it's been kind of consolidating for a month and a half now. Overall, we're just in this giant range. I just got an alert on HUT. What in the world is going on with HUT? I don't even see it on my list. Is HUT breaking out? Oh, HUT is breaking out. All right. Well, you're getting that V-shaped recovery. Just remember, buying calls in these types of situations, remember, you're going to get crushed by vol because the vol expands. When you drop from 52 down to 36, vol's expanding. When you pop back up, vol is shrinking, which is going to end up devaluing your calls, which I know is weird because you're like, hey, no, it's going up. My calls should be more valuable. And technically, you're gaining, I guess, really more delta. You're gaining more intrinsic value if you're already in the money, but you're losing extrinsic value because the vol's getting crushed. So when you have V-shaped recoveries, I mean, honestly, an example of this is SPX. buying calls in this zone is really, really tough, especially if you're out of the money because of vol crush. And that's kind of, it's like a mathematical sleight of hand, but it's something you have to be mindful of. That's exactly why, even though the Qs were going up at an all-time high, that's exactly why my Qs were actually net red on Friday, even though we hit a new all-time high, is because I was being an asshat and not thinking about vol crush when I got into them. So like, is there expectations on Tesla's earning? Of course there's expectations. That's what all Wall Street analysts do. They're all supposed to come up with their expectations. That's like what the line in the sand is. Those analysts, all those fancy guys who are barely right half the time, that's what they sometimes get paid the big bucks for, even though they are wrong about half the time, which I still always find endlessly comedic. I mean, what's the kind of the cultural joke that we talk about how meteorologists and weather people are just always wrong and like no one really cares? I mean, market analysts, economists are even worse. I thought you can hedge MNQ and NQ on the same account. It was a delay on closing the position between accounts. No, you can't do that because you would just size up the MNQ and just do the perfect opposite. Of course you can't do that. Like that, it is very clear why you wouldn't be able to do that. It's just way too easy to game the system. Half your accounts would always be perpetually making money. I just got an alert on Hood. Hood also might be breaking out a little bit. Yeah, Hood making a bit of that very extreme recovery. Nice entry on Thursday. I obviously missed it, but bouncing off the 50 EMA, that was a nice swing play, targeting probably 152, 154. Hood, like I said, I'm not in it, but I'm jealous of those of you who are in it. I do want to remind you at 10 a.m., what do we have going on right now? At 10 a.m., we do have new home sales coming out. I like that recovery. I thought I had a shot for a second. How is the options flow looking? I thought I had a shot for a second to dump my stuff at 75, but it looks like we might be turning a wee bit early. The Mag 7 isn't. The Mag 7 is actually showing strength. That combination of Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Tesla. So price just took a hit there at 940 for some reason, but options not agreeing. The S&P 500, it was flat. People bought puts. They sold puts. No one's really buying calls. Calls were flat. They sold calls. They bought calls. Then they sold them again. So as of now, and granted, we're 12 minutes into the day, there's not many people YOLOing into S&P 500 calls, which makes sense because we gapped up. But I'm also not seeing that much profit taking. And we're definitely not seeing profit taking in the Mag 7. I deeply believe we would have. I'm kind of surprised we haven't already. And maybe I should knock on wood here because maybe it's going to be happening in a hot second. But as of this moment, we are not seeing evidence of profit taking, even on that hit. So who knows? Maybe the new home sales will like scare people and all of a sudden people are going to start hitting the cash register. We're going to start to hear cha-ching. But I'm just waiting for this to open. I mean, we're opening up, but we're not really trending. We sold off a little bit, and now we're just stuck in this range. So I'm just getting an alert. Is quantum computing still puking? I just got an alert on qubits. Oh, no, it's attempting to recover. Yeah, the sell-off in quantum computing was brutal. It went down 44%. 44%. That is crazy. In 6 trading days, just over a week. That is like, this stuff is just so incredibly volatile. So incredibly volatile. GameStop, like I said, my prediction is it actually ends up going red on the day just because it's nothing quote unquote real that's behind this. You just had hype from, I guess, the president, the White House for some reason. I don't get why. Can you give us any insights or knowledge you go for Rumble's future while there with Chris and Paulo, others than you already shared with Viva? No, the Viva was probably the most, I don't know, like accurate breakdown of what's going on. But I like in terms of insights, I mean, it's literally just what they're saying there. There's a natural overlap between this concept of like speech outside of the government, aka free speech, and then money outside of the government, aka Bitcoin. There's a very natural alignment of like the desire for those two things. So to me, it's a match made in heaven. And that's exactly why they, on various levels, have partnerships. Obviously, Rumble live streaming that event. Obviously, Tether investing in Rumble. Like, this is all publicly available information. But in my mind, it's just a natural partnership. Like, it makes a lot of sense to me. What do I think about CRM, Salesforce? I don't know. I don't really track Salesforce. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, it's not doing shit. I would look at that and be like, oh, it's not moving. Remember, you need to be in stocks that are moving in one direction or the other to make money. So when I see something doing nothing, there's an aspect of capital efficiency you have to consider and go to stuff that looks like it's about to get moving and try to ride that trend. So when I see something not moving, I say, okay, cool. I set out breakout and breakdown alerts, and when I just wait for that. You don't want to force the play, especially in this environment. We already have so many things that are moving. You don't need to force it. Matt, you can cough like that, and we won't give you shit if you're doing bong hits or smoking a blunt. I wish I sounded like this due to, what was it? Bong hits or a blunt, but unfortunately it was just too much sleep deprivation. And I've now, at the age of, I don't even know, how old am I? 31, realized that as soon as my body, when I go about 24 hours without sleep, I think it just puts me in a situation of being very, very susceptible. And then when I'm stuck on a fucking airplane for 10 hours and it seems like all of my neighbors were just like hacking up their lungs, like I was not in a good mental state yesterday, because after catching one flight and then the other one being delayed and you're sitting in the airport, the flight from Zurich, I connected in Zurich to New York is about 10 hours. You are in the air for 10 hours. And because my one flight got switched, I just switched to another flight. So I was like the classic back of the plane. I can't say I had a middle seat because like the place only had two, so there was no middle seat. But I was the window, and it just seemed like the people in front of me and the people behind me and the people to my left were all just hacking up a lung. So you're already like, when people say they like travel, they're not talking about the actual mode of travel. They're talking about like whatever, enjoying experiences like not in their hometown. The actual act of travel is generally like stressful, and there's TSA and luggage and this and that. And then when it's international, there's a lot of language barriers. And when things are getting delayed and you already have this like mentality that, man, it's going to be like I said, just one of the flights was 10 hours. And then going into it when stuff gets delayed, and then you sit there and you get a shitty seat because like that's the only thing left over on the plane. And then from there, when everyone, you're like, fuck, like here goes my immune system. And just like for 10 hours, you're just hyper aware of everyone else sneezing and coughing. And then by the time you finally get home, you're like, do I feel a little bit weird? You're like, no, I'm just tired. And then you wake up and you're like, yep, they fucking all got me sick. Like, it's just, I just don't do well. I just do not do well on lack of sleep. I will put up with so many other things in my life, but I need at like my minimum of 6 hours, and I'm going to prefer 8. Like, I feel like I could deal with any other form of bullshit as long as I have my sleep. And I was holding on strong. When I left you guys on Monday or Tuesday, I told you, I was like, yo, like I'm kind of like on the edge of getting sick. And actually the whole time in Switzerland, I was good. Like I was just taking my vitamins, felt good, got some sunshine, was drinking a lot of espresso. Like it was all working out. And I kind of had these visions of grandeur. I was like, oh, did you beat your sickness before it like was an issue? And did you do this internationally? I was honestly sitting there thinking, Matt, dude, your immune system's now at the next level. You've been traveling and you were already kind of like ready to get tilted to being sick. And I thought I parried the whole thing. I thought I dodged it like Neo in the Matrix. I was like, hell yeah. And then I woke up this morning. So I feel very fortunate that this all happened when I got back. I mean, it would suck to like be doing the interviews feeling how I do now. So at least I'm in the comfort of my own home. But like as soon as I got a little too cocky, I was like, dude, Matt, you avoided that sickness. Hell yeah, these vitamins rock. Drink your electrolytes, drink your water, drink your tea. You're doing good. Even with the time zone shift, like you're crushing it. As soon as I had those thoughts, I knew that I should have been knocking on wood or something. I knew it. Pineapple juice, as much as you can stand. Why is pineapple juice known to help? Or is it just like vitamin C? I just do those emergency packs. Those and those little like airborne gummies. Thought you did well in Switzerland and surprisingly well this morning. What's in the cup? Oh, coffee. I needed some coffee because I'm, like I said, running on almost no sleep. I feel like borderline delirious. Just coffee. Coffee and ice. Dude, I knew this, but I completely forgot it. You cannot get like American drip coffee in Europe. To all my European viewers out there, that is a business opportunity. I like espresso. I do. I get it. Like whatever, cool. Lattes, cappuccinos. But after so many days of espresso, you go to a cafe and you're like, oh, can I get like an American drip coffee? And they're like, oh, an Americano, which is literally just espresso and water. And you're like, no, like actual drip coffee. You can't do it. You cannot do it whatsoever. So while I was there, even though I had a great time with Tether and Rumble and the whole event, if anything, I came away with a business idea that it needs a Texas Roadhouse that sells American drip coffee. That is what Europe is in need of. Like without a doubt in my mind, you would most likely rise to being the like wealthiest person in the world if you can get a Texas Roadhouse franchise. And at that place, you're like, just coffee, guys. For anyone who needs like espresso, go somewhere else. I was missing my coffee for sure. Good places will ask if you want drip when you order an Americano. All the places I saw didn't even offer it. And I went to many cafes. I was like, drip coffee, drip coffee, drip coffee. Nope, not an option. Not an option. They don't want our crap coffee. Coffee can be very good. What do you mean? If you like source like high quality beans and they're roasted properly, it could be really, really good. And this isn't even really hating on espresso. It's just crazy to me that only espresso base drinks were an option. And now it makes me almost want to look into the history of what the hell happened, that there's just no drip coffee whatsoever. But I deeply believe it's actually now just like a business opportunity. Palantir is looking good. It's up 3.5%. Wow. It's the gringo face. Yeah. It probably is. I don't disagree with that. It probably is the gringo face. The airport passport control people thought I was Italian, though. Do I look Italian? Do we have any Italian people in here? Because when I was going through the passport control thing, when I was going in, I flew into Italy because you fly into Milan when you're going to Lugano, or at least you can. That's what I did. Obviously, they have, like, if you're a local citizen, you have a special line. And the guy was like, no, Italians over here. And I looked at him and I was like, buddy, not Italian. Like, he was surprised. Like, on his face, he's like, American? Which I kind of take it as a compliment because, as you were saying, a lot of times when you're traveling abroad, everyone's like, yeah, look at this fucking American. But no, like the passport control guy's like, Italians over here. And I was like, well, he kept saying Italiano. And I was like, no, sir. Italian Balkan. Well, Italians have their own line. They did at this airport. Yes, Northern Italian, you look like you could pass for that. Well, so did the passport control people. They got like mad, like that I was allegedly in the wrong line. Take it as a compliment that they thought you were one of them. Yeah, no, I wasn't bothered. And in a weird way, I wanted to let it go because that line was way faster and way shorter. It was interesting. I never have realized that before, that I could potentially look Italian. Because when I did all those 23andMe tests, like that type of stuff, which, hey, if you haven't already, you should probably delete your data from that because, like, I think they're getting sold. There's bankruptcy. But anyway, if you're a 23andMe user, you should log in and have it delete your data and everything from the system because you don't know who it's going to get sold to. But anyway, that's a side point. Back when I did it and back when I had the data, I don't think there were any Italian markers. Dude, you're not Italian? Then what are you? Chinese? Maybe. Are you ever range trading or mostly momentum? Momentum. So for me, I find it easiest to trade with the overall trend. So right now, you would argue Palantir has a bullish upward trend defined by higher highs and higher lows. Tesla as well. higher highs, higher lows. Technically, this might be a lower high, so you'd watch the most recent low. I'm waiting for this range to break one way or the other. And a super easy way to do it is just set up all the EMAs. Like, look at, are we on top of the cloud? Yes. Are we on top of the cloud? Yes. Okay, so like I'm waiting for the short term to get a little bit stronger, and then most likely I'll throw on some bullish positions. But I find life to be way easier when you trade with the trend. I really, really do. And I'm not saying that's the only way to make money. I mean, I personally know people who are mean reversion traders, like systematic mean reversion traders. When it goes, whatever, 2.5, 3 standard deviations away from a moving average, they fade it. And that's completely acceptable. And yes, it can be profitable. But I would say there's a certain psychology and personality you need to be successful at that. And so once again, I'm telling you, you can be successful. But also, just from my...
submitted.
Oh, what the fuck? Just from my years of trading, the bot just took a breakout bullish trade. From my years of trading, I just feel more comfortable with trading with the trend. All right, so the 2 bots are running right now, just 2 of the accounts, 2 of the 22. Looks like this first one is doing what? Going for way too much profit. Wait, why is it doing that? This was supposed to go for 3 points of profit. I must have fucked it up on Thursday and not changed it. It should have been for 3 points, and it looks like it's going for 10 points. We'll let it ride. We'll let it ride. Yeah, it's long at 48.50, so it should be locking it in at 51.50. It should have already locked in, but for some reason, it's going for 10. I'm going to let it ride. And then this one, oh, wait. No, this is the right one. This is 3 points. It's off by a tick, but okay. So we have 2 different ones going out. So this one is the ATR target, average true range, just a measure of volatility. While this one, it actually locked in. Well, that's confusing. So it went long 3 contracts right here at 48.50, 3 at 48.50. It locked in 1 of 3, but then somehow exceeded the price. Well, that's pretty strange. I don't get good vibes from Rhythmic, folks. This one, the funded futures one, the account I got is on Rhythmic. And I think sometimes the data, like, look at this. The order was auto put in. You can see right here, it's on the screen that I filled 1 of 3. Right here, long 3, sells 1. It actually went past my price. It went up to 52. The high, H, is 52. I'm trying to sell at 51.75. How did it only fill 1 of 3? It's crazy. It's crazy. Due to the okay, so normally when you're trading something like NQ, there is slippage. That's just a part of the game and you have to accept it. I think the slippage is worse on these sim-to-funded firms just because of the extra data checks they have to do, such as how many contracts can you trade? Are you in the drawdown? Like there's another layer of processing and data analytics they have to do beyond just submitting the order. And even though in terms of like real lifetime, it's really quick. In the terms of scalp trading, it can make shit worse. So I think if you're going to scalp trade, you can't really be doing it for super, super small amounts where the slippage of a point or two is a high percentage of your overall profit target. So like if you're only going for 3 points, but you have a slippage of 1.5, that's 50%. So I do deeply believe that slippage, it's already an aspect of trading. I believe that it's worse in this particular world.
Target filled.
All right, so that one locked in 195, and then this one. So the code's not messed up. It's actually doing what it was expecting. I just accidentally clicked on the wrong account, but you can see right there above my head that locked in 195, and then this one is that same Orbo breakout once again aligning with direction, and this one's still going. And what's going to happen is if the code runs right, it's going to lock it in at 59. And then the stop right here, it's going to update from sell 2 to only sell 1. And it's going to get moved to break even. If it did it right, which I believe when I left you guys on Tuesday, it was running properly. So I'm curious to see how this plays out. But then with respect to manual trades, I have not done anything. I probably should have gone long here at 957 because I could have been long at 41. I could have risked 34. Not even 10 points of risk. You're with trend. Who knows? Maybe I'll have an opportunity. I'm not necessarily trying to rush anything today. I'm not feeling the best, so I don't need to do anything Too extravagant. Yeah, new home sales is coming out in a minute. Actually, 30 seconds. So hopefully that maybe just quickly gets this fill for me. Once again, new home sales data drop is coming out in 15 seconds. All right. It is coming out in 10 seconds. New home sales is now coming out in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Which way are we going? Which way are we going? Let's bring up Bookmap. A lot of people trying to dump at 60 and 67. Remember, the heat map above. Whoa. Got a little bit of a pop there. Still haven't locked this one in. I want to watch this in real time because I want to make sure the code is working properly. Like I said, on this fill, this sell order, the protective stop, should update from selling 2 to selling 1 because I already got the fill. And then from there, it should be moved to break even. But no, it's going for 2 and 2. So there's no runner at all. This is just trying to lock in 20 points. So it's just trying to lock in $400. Interesting. I must have somehow changed the code. Like I said, this was about a week ago. But no, the fact that it's 2 and 2 is just trying to get out. Interessante. So the SPY has not gotten the 30-minute Orbo breakout because the high was actually made at 9:58. So if you were playing the 30-minute Orbo, for the point of us in this community, let's call the 30-minute Orbo the Orbo, and let's call the 60-minute Orbo the initial balance. I think just for us to all get on like the same page. So anyway, the Orbo, once again, the first 30 minutes. If I'm specifically talking about the 10, I'll say the 10-minute Orbo. But if I'm generically referring to Orbo, assume I'm talking about the 30 minutes from 9:30 to 10 a.m. We just broke that on the
Target
Qs.
filled.
All right, yeah, that locked in. So 420 locked in there, 195 locked in there. A little bit of a breakout. Interesting. Well, now I'm kind of worried about the... All right, so I've only done 2 trades today. 420 locked in and 195 locked in. And then I haven't traded on any of these accounts. How are we looking? How are we looking over here? Okay, so to break the transition zone, 60 with an interesting target up here at 75. Let me just do a sanity check. Oh, no. Okay, the bets have changed. We now have a... Okay, hang on. This is important. There is now a call credit spread in play that is huge. 70... Holy fuck. Okay, so here at 6875, there's 11,000. And here at 6880, it is 25,000. So let me update this. This is actually... and they were made today. This didn't exist. So I'm going to move this up to 80. But remember, there's also players at 75. So if they undershoot it, just be mindful of that. That like when we get in here, you know what I'll do is I'll just mark out both. This is now the large breakout zone. You could see it right here. That this is a very, very big 25,000. We have not been seeing this on Mondays at all. 24.7 thousand contracts plus another 11,000. So that's basically 36,000 calls are sold at this level. That's going to be an extreme amount of resistance. An extreme amount of resistance. Wow. It also makes it a good target. So I actually might dump my plays there if we get up there because I have ones expiring this week and I want to roll it out. I want more time anyway, and I'm trying to be mindful of the downside gap fills. So as you can see, I have Qs, I have SPY. Of course, we could break and rip. That is 100% possible. I just don't feel like taking that risk today because these are definitely sizable. Definitely sizable. All right, so what I am looking for, which would make my life easy, and not necessarily a prediction, but what a perfect play would be, is a push to 60, a rejection, a higher low right here. I want it to hit this level, pulls back. We put in a nice higher low like we have been recently. 1, 2, 3, just higher low, higher low. And then off that higher low, I want to see it push right into this 5-point zone. And this is where I would be taking my money. Of course, if you wanted to leave on a runner, you'd be watching 6,900. That's the next thing. But for me in my management, because I have to consider the fact that they expire this week, I'm going to be taking it off. I'm I'm going to be taking it off in there just because maybe it does get rejected. So if I had more time, I would leave a runner on. But since it's for this week, I'd rather just sell it all, wait for a pullback and get in. And then if the pullback doesn't happen, whatever. You're not going to catch every single one. Matt, thought on adult diapers for long road trips? No, don't do that. All right, so we did get the 30-minute Orbo breakout. The SPY broke out. The Qs broke out. Technically, the 10 and the 50-minute Orbo was also to the north side. So we have the 3-minute and the 5-minute Orbo were bearish. The 10, the 15, and the 30 have all been bullish. As you go up in time, they are statistically more impactful. They are statistically more impactful. All right, it does look like, at least with respect to NQ, the futures contract for the NASDAQ, I'm seeing a chunk of people trying to sell at 900. 900 with some people trying to get out at like 85 and 87. The point of control is down here at like 36 and VWAP is all the way down at like 800. So VWAP is at the bottom of your screen. Point of control is right here, this yellow line at 258, what is it? 37. That's just where the most contracts have been traded today. And now we're just waiting for a little bit of consolidation to break one way or the other. But I think a pretty natural target for day traders at this point is 2,900. Let's check back in on the flow. Mag 7. That whole time, even when price got hit, this kind of tells you that something's a little bit mismatched. Price went down, but the options never blinked. And look at that, price broke to the upside. This is why you have to get on something like Spot Gamma, because it's just so insightful to tell you what's going on underneath. Between 950 and 952, that's going to scare a lot of people out. And yet the options world is telling us there's no reason to get scared out whatsoever. No reason whatsoever. Tesla's looking pretty good. Palantir's also having a good day. We have a couple that are up. I mean, Nvidia is even up 2.2%. It's given a bit back now, but percentage-wise, Robinhood is going. Robinhood is up 5.5%. It's one of the biggest gainers on my watch list. Tis crazy. 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, 4-hour bullish. 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, 4-hour all bullish. The only thing that's like kind of messing this up right now that makes it hard to just not completely YOLO long is the fact that we have the downside gap fill. But beyond that, this is a pretty bullish looking picture, folks. Pretty bullish looking picture. Oh. Do I want to take this trade? A little bit of a bull flag with trend. A little bit of a bull flag with trend. Obviously, this is a higher low. Do we think 62 is going to hold? Do we think 62 is going to hold? That was a little bit of a pop there, but quickly got rejected. Oh, it's minimal risk. Do I do it? Or do I give it a second to breathe? I'm really zoomed in on this. I'm on the 100 tick right now. I was just trying to pinpoint a better entry. Oh, is this? Oh, trying to vibe it out. Trying to vibe it out. Is this going to snap here? Or are we just turning right around? What's my risk? My risk is 62.
Order submitted. Order.
Yeah, it just, that's like
Order
such an
submitted.
awkwardly long delay. Awkwardly long delay. All right, we're ripping it with a long position. 90. All right, where... I need to give this 1 second to breathe, and then I'm going to... Oh, I should probably update the risk because you never know when random announcements are going to come out. It's at 42 right now. Really what I want to move it to. My goal is to move it to 62. I'm just waiting for a little bit of a push above 80. And then I'm attempting to, as quickly as I can, de-risk this position. as in either getting the stop to 62, that's only 10 points of risk, or right to break even. But we did get rejected here once. Looks like maybe we're getting rejected a second time. Let's see. It is with trend, so I do want to be with trend. What is this low? I can move it up to 55. How much room do I want to give this? We are struggling at this trend line. I was hoping that on the third test right here, I was hoping that the third time was a lucky charm. Ooh, and the answer to that is no. We have some buyers stepping in. They swept this. Come on, punch it back up. They swept this recent low right here at 62, barely. They knocked it down to 59. They knocked it to 59. Oh, I wish I could de-risk it right now. I just feel like 55 is a little too close. I don't necessarily want to have my stop in the middle of all these EMAs. I like that it's just below the super trend. Oh, brother. Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Oh, brother, oh, brother. VWAP is pretty far away. Shit. Is it coming for me? Is it sweeping this low? Am I going to get lucky? Will this be the higher low? It's going to be what it's going to be. 30. So I'm risking 60. I don't like that. I feel like my risk is a little bit larger than I like right now. A little bit larger than I like. I was hoping some buyers would be stepping in right here. I thought I was being smart and waiting for a pullback into this EMA. I was like, all right, cool. Like, you didn't chase it, but I guess the market gods had a different opinion. The market gods had a different opinion. That's 42.50. All right, mine's at 42. Can we bounce out of it? Can we bounce out of it? Oh, how I wish I waited for this entry, because I could be long at 57, risking 49. That probably, oh, I'm kicking myself now. That would have been a good trade. Long at 57, you're playing the bounce off the 50 EMA. That's what this blue line is. You're with trend. You're risking not even 10 points. Man, that was a good trade. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Ugh. That entry right there at 10.12. That if you took that, my hat's off to you. That was a nice trade. By the time we go to even this recent high at 10.09, you move your stop to break even and you try to ride it all the way up. Will gold hold 4K? Is gold plummeting? Maybe. Tesla's still going. Is this dip right here, this 10-11 dip? Oh, that was a good trade. I'm not even commenting on how it plays out, because of course we could go either way here. I'm saying in terms of the decision making involved. So this is what I hate, is I think I might get stopped out even though it's going to come back. I mean, we saw this earlier today, right here. Here's your real-time example, 949 to 951. We had 2 minutes of price getting hit hard. Options never gave up, and then we made a beautiful recovery. Look at what's going on right now. Price, once again, 10.09 to 10.11. 2 minutes of price getting hit, but options are not blinking whatsoever. They are not blinking whatsoever. If anything, we have a little bit of profit taking here on the SPY. Why? We didn't hit 60. I'm going to set an alert at the 60 breakout level. Tesla grinding. All right, folks, just a reminder, today's partner is Public. If you're not trading on Public, I think you're really missing out. I personally love it. It's the only brokerage I know of that gives you a rebate every single time you trade an options contract. Doesn't matter if it's a call, doesn't matter if it's a put. There are no commission fees, no per contract fees on stocks and ETFs. It is free to download. It is free to sign up. You have nothing to lose to, at minimum, check out the platform. It is pinned to the top of chat. It's in the description of the video. Make sure to use that link because you're going to start out at a higher rebate tier. That is the partnership that we have with them. Everyone using that link starts out. So whether you're trading on another brokerage or not, hey, you could have multiple brokerages. And I think when you start seeing these rebates stack up, you're going to realize how amazing this is. Another way to put that is if you get in and out at the same price, let's say you buy a call for $1 and sell it for $1, you're not break even. You're actually net ahead because of the rebate. So I think when you put it that way, you realize how powerful of a tool it can be. Once again, if you get in and out at the same price, you are net ahead. You will be in profit due to the rebates. Oh, do I move my risk up? My life would be, because right here, we're pulling back. We ran into the EMAs. We ran into the super trend. We just put in a high right there. But if this gets, oh, shit. Might be a little fake out here. What do I want to do? Do I want to give this a second to breathe? The thing that was really keeping me into this trade was the strength in the Mag 7. It's tilting a little bit, but it literally just made a delta high. It just made a delta reading high. While the SPY, it's trying to catch itself. This is what I'm worried about, is I'm seeing these signs of underlying strength, but price, like, I wonder if price is just going to get clocked enough to, like, fuck with me. Oh, how do I want to do it? I have to make a decision kind of soon. Life would be easier if we just bounced. Like, I'm still seeing a lot of bullishness, which makes me want to hold this play, but oh, life would be easier if it was just way above my current price. Way above my current price. Someone said, wow, QCOM. What's going on with QCOM? Whoa. What was the announcement there? What the fuck? QCOM's up 15%. Folks, you have the news on QCOM? It's been ripped ever since 10. Something had to get announced at 10. What in the world is the news on QCOM? What? Look at that. Oh, fuck. Hang on. Do I have to cut this? Oh, this is such a bummer. I feel so strongly that this is all going to come bouncing back, but oh, right here. Breaking: QCOM stock surges over 10% after announcing new AI chips to compete with AMD and NVIDIA. Wow. Wow. That's... Look, the market is loving it. The market is loving it. Fuck. Oh, do I cut this NQ position? I was kind of watching this 956 low here a little bit, just like where it seemingly took a breather. I was hoping that we overshot the orbital breakout. We came down. I thought we were going to find stability and go. That's what I was looking for. And I'm seeing QCOM rip. NVIDIA is down probably because of the QCOM news. So oddly enough, because even though it looks really good for QCOM, the increase in competition is obviously going to hurt NVIDIA and AMD, at least in the short term. So that's why you're seeing those two drop, while this thing is just ripping like no other. Oh, shit. The SPY. Dude, I'm now kicking myself really, really early on when I was like, yo, should I just cut at 62? Not even taking on like whatever risk, not even 10 points of risk. I have to be careful here. I can't let myself go on tilt. Even though I feel very strongly, and once again, what I'm basing this off of is prices getting hit, but options are remaining strong. Like, I'm not just sitting here like with pure hopium. Of course, there's going to be an aspect of hopium, so maybe I'm a bit biased, but I am looking at the fact that the delta flow is remaining strong this entire time price is getting hit. It's the SPY that is getting dropped on me. Fuck. What's gonna... we've been here before. I've streamed it to you guys so many times. I feel like I'm going to get clocked. That's going to be the bottom. And then it's just going to rip all the way to my targets. It's going to rip all the way to my targets. If you guys were me, would you hold it? I'm long at 71. It's trading at 45. I'm talking about the NQ contract right here. I am long at 71. I got long on this at first, what I thought was pullback, and then unfortunately 10 minutes later I got hit. I waited past the 10 a.m. hour. I guess I didn't wait enough. I'm long basically here, 71. I was watching this risk at the 956 low, pretty much where we are now. It's not holding that pre-market high. That's probably not good. We went right up to the pre-market high. Fuck. Oh, things are speeding up, but are they buying this dip? If we can recapture 50, that's actually like strength to me, and I wouldn't sweat at all. But I'm in this danger zone right now, and I don't know if I'm being smart. Well, hang on. Now this is changing. We were talking about options flow. It is actually starting to tilt now. This was the one thing that I was saying, hang on, something doesn't make sense here. Like we saw earlier today, price going down, but option kept going up. But now, as of 10:16, it is going down. Fuck. All right. I need 850 to be recaptured, basically. I can't, if it hangs out below this 50 EMA on the 1 minute, I have to get out. I'd rather take a survivable loss than just get knocked here. That's not ideal. Well, maybe we find support at 850 on SPX. That is going to be a key level. We were dancing around that this morning. But this little reversionary bounce is not bringing me joy because it's not much of a reversionary bounce at all. Yeah, starting at 1009, 1010, that's when the options flow went from bullish to neutral to bearish right here. Bullish, neutral, bearish. Bullish, a little bit of neutral, bearish, but now it's back to being flat. I don't have good vibes about this. Fuck. What's Bookmap telling us? Well, here's the point of control at like 37, and then there's a bunch of buyers at 800. So there's a bunch of sellers at 900 and a bunch of buyers at 800. Just a normal run-of-the-mill 800-point spread. Yeah, just normal stuff. All right, so maybe we're finding support at this point of control. Maybe bouncing off a little bit of VWAP right here around 820. So what is this? About a 15-point range. Above it, I think I have a fighting shot. Below it, just like the pure odds are not good for me. Fuck, dude. We have some aggressive selling. For a second there, it looked like buyers were stepping in, right? Like just the point of control bounce, but now see how it's getting like more lethargic each time. More lethargic each time. Come on. This the POC, point of control. That is where most contracts have been traded today. Like what price? As you can see, it's around 36, 37, and VWAP is down here around 18. So about a 20-point differential between the point of control and VWAP. Shit. Dude, every single time it's just getting a little bit, nope. I'm not feeling good about this. Okay, at least the Mag 7, the line's not so aggressive to the downside, but the S&P 500 right here, someone starting at 1016 bought a bunch of 0 DTE puts right there. This light blue line that is 0 DTE puts, someone bought a chunk of them. Did they buy to open, buy to close? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, but they bought them, so that's going to add negative delta to the system. Oh. Do I try to dollar cost average down here at this level? Oh, it's such a degenerate thing to do it. But if this ends up being the bottom, that would help me out quite a bit. Do I add another contract here? Oh, it's so degenerate. We haven't really even flipped the EMAs yet. Fuck. What would you guys do? Would you just say, hey, today's not my day, or would you throw on another contract here? How degenerate are you guys feeling? Do it. Greg's like, hey man, it's your accounts, rip it. I get it, Greg. I appreciate that. You're here for the entertainment. I get it, Greg. Fernando says no. I'm just wondering right here, is this the low I could play off of? The 1020 low, the 1023 low. I'm watching this sloping trend line on the Qs. Oh, I'm seeing a slight uptick in the Mag 7. It's not crazy, but obviously we got hit down, down, down. It's just, is it a fake out? Is it a fake out? Do it. Cut it. Add another. I'm looking for a VWAP rejection, as in like we bounce off of it. VWAP is currently below us. I would do it. Miracles happen. Keith, it's very optimistic. I appreciate that. Keith coming in with the optimism. See, I'm watching. We're starting to pick back up here. It's just like, is it going to be a rollover though? Like price picks up, options pick up, and then we like, it's just a lower high on both and then we vomit? Or is this just the higher low for Delta? Like right here when we saw this, it dipped early this morning and then we ripped. You never know. You never know. How's SPX? SPX, it's a 50-50 bet because we're just at this level. We're at a key technical level, psychological level, open interest level. We're at 50. The bulls and the bears are currently fighting it out. If the bulls are more aggressive, congrats, we go back up to 60. If the bears are more aggressive, congrats, we're probably at minimum sweeping the intraday low. And we popped up, we sold all the way down to it. We dance around, fake out, breakdown, back up, fake out, breakdown, back up. We try to get above 50. We got smacked. If anything, it might be worthwhile to watch like this little mini structure right here. I know the colors are the same, but just this zone between 52 and 47. You never know. Because this idea, and I think this is important, and we haven't streamed in a while, so you guys haven't heard it come from me. This idea of trying to predict which way it goes, it is very silly. It is very nonsensical to do that. Because the next bar, like I'm on the 1 minute chart right here, to predict whether we break out or break down, you're literally trying to predict what are people about to do. Are they about to aggressively buy at a higher price, or are they about to aggressively sell at a lower price? It's other traders who are about to decide this breakout or breakdown. It's not some predestined thing where like, yeah, no, the buyers decide. Like you don't know in aggregate what the market's going to do. So it's like, in my opinion, far better just to react to this type of stuff. Be like, okay, cool. Like maybe we're holding it, looking for the breakout, and it's just a game of risk reward management of saying, oh, we're knocking on the top, maybe we break, and you risk that low and you try to ride it all the way up to 60 for that breakout on the follow through. However, ever since what time? 10:04, 10:07, we have lower highs and lower lows. Well, we might be switching it around a little bit right here. 30. Do I really add on another? Am I that much of a fucking degenerate? It's risk reward, folks. We maybe found a higher low. Look at that pop. I was really thinking about adding in another one here at 40. I kind of wish I did. I don't want to chase it. As a trader, that's one of my biggest issues is when I'm thinking about adding it and then it breaks in my way, I add it way worse. Actually, on the plane ride back, I was reviewing some of my trades, and that was actually one of my worst issues is right here. I was looking to add at 41 or even here at 42, either this breakout or this breakout, 41, 42. And then looking at my trade history, I wait and I'm like almost like, no, go for more and more confirmation. And then I add it like 10, 20 points later, and it just doesn't like, it's just silly. It's actually extremely silly.
Order filled.
What? Strategy has sent what kind of fucking... Hang on, bot just did something. Stop canceled? All right, so there must be some sort of fucked up code Something just happened. Let me turn that code off. Something got weird there. Something got weird. But anyway, had I added in here, damn, my average would be around 60. I would be already in green, and I could have sold one right at break even, lower my average by about 10 points. That's a bummer. All right, but now I have something a little bit more reasonable. That was a good trade, even though it didn't work here at 10.12. I like that bounce play. And then you had another strong one here at 10.20 and another strong one here at 10.28. I was trying to take this 10.27, 10.28 trade because you see we pulled back into the EMA and now we pushed above it and we're trying to flip all the EMA once again. Green, red, back to green. Even a dip back into the EMA here that starts to bounce out is, in my book, kind of a strong trade. But I'm still in the mode of how can I de-risk it? Damn. Kevin, you're right. Miracles do happen. I should have added. I was 41.42. I would have added in another. My average would have been 60. I could move right now my stop to 58. I'd be risking 2 points on 3 contracts. That's easy. And then if you get to ride it, you get to ride it. I'm kicking myself. I think my brain is processing a little slow because I feel sick as fuck. Damn. Golly gee, I missed out on that one. Do I move this up right? I can't because I can move it up to this. Technically, I can't move it to this one yet. At least in the way that I trade. The low is 50. I would love to put it up to 58 because that's actually even higher than what I was using in here. That was at 48. So I'm looking for a push of a new all-time high. Maybe on that push and break, I just move it to here. 58. I'm risking 12 points on 2 contracts. That's not bad. That's survivable. That's a good risk reward. I'm just hoping we don't get a double, because fuck, the SPY is losing some of its steam. What I'm worried about is see how on a relative basis the SPY had such a lethargic bounce compared to the Qs. The Qs almost bounced up to a new all-time high. Something's going on in the S&P 500 outside the world of tech where we try to get going. I just don't want this to get drugged down with it. Fuck. I need this to start to be a higher low. It's still technically lower highs, but if we can bounce off of 50, if we just can stay above 47, I think I have a shot. And then I'd feel way more comfortable about 56, but I'm still concerned about a double top rejection up here at 60, the way it looks like maybe the Qs are getting a double top rejection at like 626. Fuck. Oh, things to be mindful of. Qualcomm is holding this entire push and Tesla's moving as well. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, wow, wow. All right. Maybe a little double bottom here. Can I move my, see how they barely swept this one? Kind of went slightly lower. I'm thinking about moving my risk up because moving my risk to 57, this whole thing becomes very manageable. At worst, my downside's 14 points. I have 2 contracts, 14 points when trading NQ. It's incredibly manageable. Fuck, I just wish if I added that in, this would have been looking good. Do I move it now, though? We did take this out. Hang on, let me look at Bookmap. Oh, this is a problem. There's now more sellers at 888 than there are at 900. Why did they move it down by 12 points? That's such a weird level. They're trying to dump it at 25,888. They're front running the psychological level by 12 points. They're right where my cursor is now. There's a lot of sitting sell orders right at 88. Should I move one of mine down to 88? What a strange thing. 88. I get front running it at 99, at 95, like 12 points. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm the only one who thinks that's a bit weird. Back to break even. Shit. Yeah, right here. This is what I'm watching. This red block here at 88. It hasn't been tested at all. None of those 60 to 70 contracts have actually been filled yet. Remember, these are passive orders. So they could be pulled the way you've had orders sitting on your chart before, like, yeah, if it fills it, it fills it. There's no rule that it has to sit there. We could get up close. Oh, now more people are coming into 900 starting a minute or two ago at 10:35, 30. See how it's starting to get darker? There's more orders. Now they're roughly the same size. Roughly the same size at 900 as in 88. So maybe on this break of 88, I'll move my stop up, or maybe on the test of 88. It's such a strange level. 88. This is where we see that light blue line. That is the same as this over here. 80. Why the fuck are they selling there? And then obviously 900. That's so strange. Maybe on 88, I even move it to break even because we just dipped to my fill. All right, I moved it up to 57. We're testing that level. Let's see how this plays out. Right here. They haven't pulled it yet. They're actually looking to get a fill. It's still there. If it gets filled, you're going to see a big green dot. Yeah, they're not pulling it. Those are real orders. Of course they're real orders. They're orders that the person like actually wants to fill. They're not just throwing it up there to throw it up there. They're still there, still there. Why 88? Oh, no, we're struggling. We're struggling. Someone started to market sell instead. Yeah, they still haven't pulled it. In fact, it's actually growing. More orders are getting put in there. Kind of crazy to watch in real time. All right, are we setting up for the test? I wonder if there's going to be enough buyers at this level to knock this person out. They're selling. Remember, red is aggressive selling. Yeah, we went up again, got rejected again. This is a serious position. Wow. But they're trying to test them for the third time. Is the third time the charm? We went up, got rejected, smacked, went up again, got rejected, smacked. We haven't really done the third test quite yet. $88. Proven to be a pain in the butt. Will it find support here? We're at previous resistance at 80. Are we going to finally absorb some of this? See what the bull camp and the bear camp are made of today? I mean, at least fill some of these guys. 88. All right. Are we going to... Someone just came in a little bit to sell at 85, 84. We just filled that guy. All right. Here we go. Who's going to win the fight? Who has more aggression today? Actually, the sellers at 900 are disappearing a little bit relative to where we were a few minutes ago. And it's actually strengthening here at 88. Orders are moving from the 900 down to 88. Interesting. Well, you see how we have this giant green circle here? Those are orders that actually got filled. They happen to get filled on the bid. If we break this right at 88, it's going to be a giant green circle, kind of like what you saw back here on the left side of your screen. That's what it will look like if we actually fill these sitting passive orders. We're not breaking out, but we're definitely not breaking down at all. It seems like it wants to test it. I kind of want to, I wish it would happen now. It's getting a little bit boring, but I wish I could show it to you. And I kind of want to stay on the screen to watch it in real time. Come on. Come on. Just tag it. Dude. Some of them are getting filled. See how this... Oh, it's grown. It got taken out. It's done. Position is gone. There's your big green circle. They were aggressive buying on the ask. They filled that person, and then there was no follow-through whatsoever. And now more people, they might have actually pulled it, because look at this. It came up, got some fills at 88, and then seconds later, a new position came at 90. So I think this one was only partially filled, or they have a bigger lot size and they just sold a chunk of it. But you could see they literally just moved it up. So some got filled, hence that green circle, and then they just moved it up by 2 points. Interesting. All right, SPY. SPY, like I said, 56 to 60. You're looking for that 60 test. We broke out of this little mini range, came back into it, put in the higher low. We're trying to follow through. Here's a look at flow. The Mag 7 is holding pretty much the high of the day. And then the S&P 500, which has been the problem child, try to get a recovery. At 1036, there was a clear hit to Delta. But as of now, it seems to have chilled a little bit, as we are maybe trying to retest 58, 59, 60 up here. Maybe. My options are looking somewhat decent. 14.5 on SPY and 14 on Qs. I want to clarify, this is the only day I've been green on the Qs. As you can see, the one-day return is greater than the unrealized, as in when the market closed on Friday, I was in the red. Even though, it's just, I was being really silly with vol crush. I wasn't thinking clearly, and I got into a position. I played the direction right, but I played it improperly. I, without a doubt, played it improperly. Oh, interesting. So that was the first initial balance test, basically, and we got a little bit of a rejection. There's these things that, it's tough, and I guess it's called greed. For example, if you guys were a new trader and you said, Matt, let's say you exactly had this setup. You're long at 71.25, your risk is at 56.75, and you have a target at 95 and 99. I know the right answer right now is to move it to break even. But what is it about the psychology of trading that you can know the mathematical right move and still not do it? If anything, I would actually argue your stop should either be break even, or it should be whatever this low is at 77. Or you could even do 1 and 1. You could do one contract at 71.25. The other one is at 77.25. That, to me, that's the fascinating thing about trading, is you can still know what to do, but sometimes you just don't bring yourself to do it, because in the event that it's coming to you, you're like, oh, but what if it just dips a little bit, wicks me out, and then goes to my target anyway? And it's because you want every trade to be green, and you want to be green every single day. But that's almost like betting your entire blackjack strategy on one hand of blackjack when you're there for the system. And I think on a personal note, that's one of the most frustrating things I find out about trading, really, is right now, my stop should either be at 77.25 or at 71.25. Really, probably 71.25. Because not only is that my fill, it's this recent dip. and you take all risk off the table, and maybe you make $1,000 if these two get filled. But then there's no risk to it. So even though that is mathematically the right move, what is it about trading that you're like, nah, I'm just going to give it like, I don't know. I just always feel so stupid. I'm doing it because it would be really silly for me to talk to you guys about it and not fix it. But like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes that's just like what bewilders me about trading is you can know exactly what you should be doing and then you don't do it. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, why is it so much easier to give good trading advice rather than actually execute good trades? I think that's why I'm so addicted to system trading and robotic trading, because it takes the questions out of it. Let's say this trade that I have right now, I set up as a system. It would have been a debate in my mind. It would have just done it because like the system has no emotions. But I think that's like one of the brutal things of trading. I suck at trading because of that. I listen to my heart and not my math. In terms of what you have to do to identify like good trades and be a good trader, that's the easy part. The hard part is truly, and like I know it sounds crazy, but the hard part is just getting yourself to do what you know you should be doing. Of course, there's certain things you should learn about, like whatever, like what are futures contracts, what are Greek values, this, that, like how to interpret, like there are some things that you just like have to have that base knowledge for. But I swear, in like 1 week, 1 month of dedicated study, you can learn everything you need to know to be a profitable trader. The other years and decades of trading are exclusively going to be your discipline to do exactly what you know you should be doing. Yeah, it's something about like the dopamine and the feedback loop of like right here. Maybe it's coming from me. So I sat in this thing the whole time. Fuck. And like this is the emotion. It goes right there. Your initial drive is like, no. Let me move it, give it more room, because what if it still bounces and goes up here and you want that money? And you're not, maybe you consciously know that the other option is like, what if it breaks and vomits and goes all the way down here and I see these massive red numbers? Like, of course, that's like the other option. But like in our brain, we're almost like discounting the brutal case. Oh, fuck. Am I about to get tagged? I wonder if I should just take my money now and call it a day. Something about trading, you know, it makes us all go crazy. Makes us all go a little bit crazy. Or maybe the market gods will bless me. We try to overtake 88 again, and it didn't work. But it did, see here how it did take out that liquidity. We ran up to it at 1045, flat, took out more of it, then got it hit, found a bit of support here at 70. There's a little issue here at 82. I'm just targeting this. This is where ideally I'll get out. But as you guys saw, I'm attempting to walk the walk as I talk the talk. And that's, I feel like I do this all the time where I could tell you guys mathematically the proper way to handle it, which what I'm like kind of on my soapbox about is exactly what I did here. But why was it such a struggle for me to do it? I sat there for 2 minutes telling you guys what I should be doing rather than just doing it. And what if in that off chance, I don't know, like China tweets something, Trump tweets something. Like it's just, we get so fascinated with making the profitable case work and we don't, oh shit. That was a burst of trades. Am I going to get clipped? No, get away. That was a burst of trades. I could see the tape over here got hit pretty hard. Yeah, right there. Look at that. Boom. I'm surprised that didn't clip me. I'm really surprised that didn't clip me. Still could, but look at that. What? Quick little waterfall. Quick little water. Get away. Get away. Get away. I have a feeling this is not going to end well for me.
Order filled.
Yep. All right. Basically break even. Tag me. And like, see, that's the letdown because you're like, well, like, watch this. This is going to be the dip that maybe transforms into the rip. Yeah. Dude, and when it does happen to you, that's reinforcing such bad habits because you're like, okay, no, like I should just hold it. But fucking look at that. What did it actually dip to? 68. So it overshot me by about 3 points. Fuck. But yeah, this case can happen where it bounces. But what if the next bar was a larger red bar and brings us down to 57? What if all of a something happens and it brings us down to 35? Like, yes, of course you can get wicked out. But the safer base assumption is that it's going to keep going against you. Because if it does bounce, granted, you're not going to get as good as a fill, but there's no pattern day trading in futures. You could always get back in. If this starts to bounce right here, I can get back in. I'm not going to get punished. While on the flip side, if your base assumption is like, no, the wick is just the wick and it's going to come back in my favor, well, maybe it does that time, and maybe it does the next time, and maybe it does the time after that. But eventually, you're going to make that bet one of these times, and it's going to just keep trending against you. And the risk reward is just incredibly asymmetric because you'll just blow out your accounts and you're going to lose them. So like in this case, to be honest, I have no idea which way it's going to go. Maybe it does completely vomit and then I'm lucky I got out, and I have to consider that. It might go up and I'm going to be bummed that I had to get a worse fill because I could always ride it to the upside. But like you just, we're not good, I think. Our brains aren't good at like really managing that. Yeah, the SPY having an issue putting in a lower high there. Putting in a lower high. And there's still Qualcomm's coming back down. Tesla. What are we doing? What are we doing? Well, hey, at least I could hold my head high right now because at this moment I'd be red. It did hit the super trend. We did break all the EMAs. What a trade this would have been, though. The trade where I was looking at 42.41. That would have been a nice trade, up about 50 points. And who knows, maybe we'll be presented with another opportunity. It gets a little sketchy if we take out these recent lows that we saw at 10.20. As long as we hold these above these lows, I'll still be looking for a long opportunity. But at this point, now I need it to back up, bounce to the EMA, pull back, put in a higher low so I can have it to play off of. So I just have to wait. I have to wait, but I'm not liking the fact that the SPY for the second time got rejected at the Orbo. We broke out, smacked pretty hard. Broke out again, smacked even harder. Something is going on in a different sector. Tech is holding on. Energy is bouncing back. Financials are looking weak. Utilities got hit pretty hard. Industrials hit pretty hard. Healthcare was hit, bounced back. Real estate, nothing too special. Consumer staples. Consumer discretionary is going down. And utilities. So XLY is consumer discretionary. That has not been trending well since the 10 a.m. hour. And then utilities and industrials. XLI is industrials, XLU is utilities, and XLY is consumer discretionary. Ever since 10 a.m., those are all trending down. While tech, which is going to be very similar to the Qs over here, has actually been trying to hold on. So something in kind of some boring sectors is not looking the best. Some of these boring sectors. But anyway, maybe the Qs find support at the Orbo breakout, which is minute 2 high. And then maybe SPX finds buyers at 50. Wouldn't mind that. You can now watch this downward sloping trend line for potential trend reversal. Actually, speaking of trend reversals, I think SPX just snapped it. Yeah. Oh, well, it's about to be testing it. So a little bit of consolidation here. We have lower highs. We have higher lows. Will this hold? Will this snap? What's it going to do? We're finding out right now. So I guess I made myself do the right thing. And my hat's off to you guys for yelling at me to do the right thing, because I would be underwater by 10 points right now instead of just break even, which we'll see. Let's see if we can recapture that 50. Here's a look at the flow. Mag 7 is taking a bit of a tilt ever since 1050. S&P 500 clearly ever since 1045 taking a bit of a hit. And here's a look at the newest structure. I do want to let you know that the top positive gamma node is new as of this morning, and that is a big one. 24,000. So you have a call credit spread up here, and then you just have a positive node at 25. Which is that a part of a larger? What is that? Just long calls. Okay. Interesting. Are we putting in a higher low? Are we actually bouncing off this trend line? If you bought that bounce, I don't hate it. Your risk is minimal. You're just risking the recent low. And if you're right, you get to ride it all the way back up. And then on the breakout of this recent high, you move it to break even. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I definitely don't hate it. Where's a look at the flow? Mag 7 went flat. SPY is bouncing a little bit. Okay. Let's do this. All right, don't need that anymore. Oh, well, I would have been lucky back to break even, but not a risk I was willing to take. So we expanded up. We came down. Some of the EMAs flipped over the other ones. Huh. I wonder if you think I could get the same fill? 71? We'll give it a second. I'm not trying to rush it. I'm not trying to rush this one. Do you guys think it's smart or stupid to try to get another long play in here? Smart or dumb? Thumbs up or thumbs down to slap on another long? I'm just trying to look for the lowest risk way to do it. Ooh, is this a little fake out? Price comes back above the EMAs. We stay bearish with the super trend. Obviously, I care a lot about this recent low. Maine Coon says smart. Wait, which way is smart? I haven't slapped out of the last one yet, but I'm still red. Oh, I mean, you have a fighting shot right now. We might be putting in our first higher low. We might be putting in our first higher low. 15-minute chart looks good. Huh. I was about to go long. I'm drilling in even smaller to see if I could pinpoint a lower risk entry. That wick right here almost tempted me to get in. Almost tempted me to get in. Almost. How can I get the lowest risk entry? Patience. This game is a game of patience. I almost got in on that. Lucky I didn't, because it only went down from there. And we're actually about to... Are we about to smack this? At 59? What's going on here? That got lit up real quick. Mag 7 actually bounced back. It's going flat. I don't see why price is going down. Yeah, SPY tilting down a little bit. We're retesting 50. Which means the recent low and the recent high have a lot of importance to them. Yeah, the SPY bulls and bears cannot decide on where they want to be. They don't know if they want to be above 50 or below 50, but this is clearly the important pivot level. Clearly the important pivot level. What's the heat map doing? A lot of buyers at 50, 40. Wow, they just walked that one straight down. Jesus. You have buyers at 50. You have buyers at really everywhere between 45 and 50. And then the point of control is all the way down at 37. But you have, oh, and the sellers are still up here at 900. Well, I feel lucky I somehow sidestepped that a little bit. I'm watching either this recent high or this recent low on S&P 500. I'm waiting for one of them to not just break, but definitively break. So right here, a little bit of a bounce off of 50, which is also the overnight trading session high and low. Having a pending buy order there. Don't hate that at all. Whoa. What was that? What was that there? That just popped up out of nowhere right off of this. Jesus. All right. That was a pop. Was that just an 11 a.m. trade or did something get announced? A lot of volume just hit. Nothing from True Social. Fundamental. Where's the news feed? I'm seeing. Okay, this looks like it froze on me, unfortunately. So the Q's just got a bid. The SPY, not as much. XLK is going. So, yeah, the NASDAQ is really trying to get going today. The SPY is just not getting the memo. It's because of probably those rare earths, the sell-off in rare earths. Damn. Would have been a nice fill at 65. Oh. Double top here? Oh, I'm trying to not rush it. You know, that feeling of like, oh, you were in a trade and like whatever, your break even. Like sometimes I think we're our own worst enemy in this. So I'm trying to remind myself, just get in on a dip. If you want to be bullish, even like, I feel like I chase it way too often in the short time frame. Way too often. Also, am I willing to take this risk on right now? Because if I'm wrong, this support's all the way down at 50. That's 20 points. That is 20 points if my risk is all the way down here. What's the flow looking like? Ooh, 5 minutes. So it's the S&P 500 that's not seemingly wanting to play today. All right, we're back in.
Order submitted.
What I'm looking at, why I did this from a technical perspective is, okay, obviously zooming out, the trend is up. We have higher highs and we have higher lows. So then you wait for the pullback. You have lower highs, lower lows, and right there, we just took out that recent high. So it's a fresh high. Obviously, my risk needs to be moved up to there. Do I want to actually be better with this and move it up to this recent wick, the 1102 low, 68? I could right away move my risk up to 68. But what if it just wants to retouch EMA? All right. But basically, there was a couple of things that all came to fruition. We've been watching how options are strong. I saw this trend line breakout. I wanted to wait for the retest. We got the retest. I got in on the next bar. Of course, I wish my entry was 75, but whatever, 3 points off. That's not the end of the world. That's not the... Oh, these are not my targets. What are my targets? This one is not. That one's just there to handle my OCO. If this gets filled, I could just move my stop to... Should I just move it up? Oh, no, I can't move it up right now. I was going to say, that's only 5 points away. And what was this high? The all-time high is 92. All right, what's important for me here is on this pullback, and this is what I say when I chase. Green, 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 I chase. When in reality, maybe it's better to be like, okay, I'm looking for a bullish position. Wait for the pullback into the EMAs. Throw in your long there. As much as I'm patient, I think sometimes I'm like definitely like not patient. And maybe this is a woulda, coulda, shoulda thing, knowing new information, because from there, if we kept ripping, I would have been stoked that I got in. But you see what I mean of we bounced from 51 to 88, and my fill's at 78. Like that's just risk, 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 risk as it goes and goes and goes, when of course it could keep going. But in this situation, I might be able to dip to 70. I might be able to dip to 68, whatever like some shit like that, lower my risk by 10 points. And if you're always lowering your risk by 10 points, it like over time that adds up. That's like massively impactful. Massively impactful. Oh, 78, 28. All right. But what's nice is technically in this time I would have gone long at 81. So it worked out in my favor this time. But that probably would have been a better trade. Long at 81, risking either 75 or 68, which means I should move my risk up. All right. The risk-free one is far better than 1-to-1 right now. I'm in at long at 78, risking 68. First target is 2-to-1. And we'll move this one up to... Yeah. So I'm long 2 contracts. First one has a risk reward, 1 risk unit to 2 reward units. And then this one is 4. So I have a 2-to-1 trade on and a 4-to-1 trade on right now. So whoever said, have you ever heard of picking up pennies in front of a steamroller? A 2-to-1 reward to risk and a 4-to-1 reward to risk is not pennies in front of a steamroller. Do I want to be that guy and move it right up to 75? I kind of thinking no, because that's like just the middle of all these EMA lines. Oh. I think this is all just because the S&P 500 is still kind of struggling. But the Nasdaq is looking so... Yeah, the S&P 500 just cannot get going today. The Nasdaq wants to go so bad, and it's utilities and industrials and consumer discretionary that's keeping the SPY back. We're just battling it out at 50. It looked like we had this higher low bounce, but nope, lower high. It's consolidation all day in many different time frames. It's just lower highs and higher lows. We're just consolidating tighter and tighter in price. So all those premium sellers are feeling pretty good. All those premium sellers are feeling pretty good. I was really hoping that this would at least, the 52 break would lead to 56. That's what I was playing on, like this bounce right here around just past the 11 a.m. hour. That's what I was hoping for. Break 52, push to 56, because on a relative basis, NQ would probably be at my target because it is stronger today. Hence why I played it via NQ rather than ES. But now I'm back to a 50-50 shot, unfortunately, because I don't know who's going to win this battle. We look to get going, and now it gets smacked. And every single time you test it, it's going to get weaker. So I'm not feeling the best about SPX right now. I'm not feeling the best, team. Shit. I need it to turn like now because I'm also at break even. So if I'm not feeling the best, look at this. SPX, even on this, tries to get bouncing a little bit. Nope. Fuck. I might have missed my opportunity to get out for break even. Might have missed it. Oh, look at that. It's so nice. These... Fuck. Yeah. It's just the S&P 500's too weak. Tech wants to go. So I could be a real degenerate, and I'm long at 78. I could move the stop down to 51. That's a bit more risk than I like, but just walk away and be like, all right, it has some room to breathe. Oh, man. If it bounces out of here, I'll feel far better, and I could actually use this low as my new updated risk. I'm using... What is this one? 51. It's just... Oh, people are trying to dump at 90. Look at this. We ran right up into the 90 area. All right. Well, if we get this fill at the all-time high, which is also, once again, right where all these people are, and it's more than we saw before, I actually might move my risk up to 72. Should I try to dump one at 90? Maybe dump one at 90, move the other to break even, and just if it runs, it runs, but most likely it'll be stopped out. Inverse the trade? I don't want to do that because the Nasdaq's crazy strong. Like, the overall trend is still up, and I don't like fighting the trend. Life is way harder as a trader, in my opinion, when you're fighting the trend. The issue is that the Nasdaq is trying to trend up while the S&P 500 is just like, it just cannot escape 50. Like, we've just been right below 50, above 50, below 50, above 50, below 50, above, and like it's just getting like a tighter and tighter consolidation. Oh, I am so tempted to move it to this. I feel like my two logical options are either very minimal risk right here at 72 and low chance of success, or higher chance of success but more risk all the way down here at 52. So I'm kind of torn. Should I use 52 or 72? Maybe a little cup and handle going on right now. These players have not moved their position yet. They're still sitting at 90. Still sitting at 90. Come on. I just want to see the way we saw this little waterfall. I want to see the inverse gravity waterfall where we just go up to 900. Come on. Take it out. Take it out. There we go. Absorb. Come on. Blow through it. It filled about 20 contracts there. I thought I saw 120, but there also might be people market ordering out as we hit it. Well, first test was pretty lethargic. First test was definitely pretty lethargic. All right. Come on, get this fill. I moved my stop up to 72. I'm long at 78, so I'm taking on 6 points of risk. So my risk to reward is even stronger now. Come on, just get this fill. Fuck. Not like a 90. Yep, that was fuck. Barely got going. What do we hit? 95. There's people at 70 now, and then 900. And I feel like shit. Just blew through that. Is it going to give us a quick retest? Is it going to test these guys at 900? This is what I'm looking for to dump. These guys have been here all fucking day. And it's actually not even as much as we saw here as of now. Of course, it could change as we get closer and there could be market orders. But in terms of sitting, pending, passive sell orders, it's growing. It's definitely growing. Come on. How close did we get? We got to 95. On the very first trade, that was one of my stops. But now that this situation's changed a little bit, I updated it. The first one to 98.5. Come on. Let's go. Do I just take all risk off the table and like just let it go at this point? Because it would have to break that, but it's awkwardly in between. I'm thinking about front running it just in case there's a hard rejection up here somewhere. Come on. Make my life easy. Make my life easy. Just go up. I'm front running it a little bit. All these people are at 900. My fill is obviously at 98.5. It's not like a 95 the most, though. It's not like in the 95. Here we go. No, fuck. It didn't go that high. It almost got me. 97. All right. It'd be silly for me to risk. My stop is now break even. I have no risk. There's no way I'm going to let it go to 97 then to somehow lose money when my fill was at 98.5. I'm going to be too pissed. So it's a free ride right now. Technically, I haven't locked I haven't locked anything in on this trade, but I'm also not risking anything. It's just there's no way I can chance it getting within 1.2 points just for me to like then it vomits somehow if someone like splashes the pot. I just don't want to deal with that today. I'm not in the mood. So it's a free play. It's a lotto play. I was thinking how nice it would be to be able to lock in like 1 or 2K today, but we're just really not. I mean, we're just actually kind of running into issues. Look at this, 95, 95, 95. And that's how it happened at 88, 88, 88. Like it's just the NASDAQ is attempting to go, but the other aspects of the S&P 500 are keeping, I don't know, people a bit fearful. I'm getting an alert on Tesla. Tesla technical breakout. Congrats if you're playing it. The next technical breakout's about $1.50 higher. Oh, we're still consolidating in the S&P 500. We broke out of one mini consolidation just to get rejected at a different consolidation. And I am almost getting a fill. Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know. The stream was supposed to be over a while ago. Dude, I need to fucking sleep. I need to catch some Z's, but at this point, I feel like we're all emotionally so invested in this particular trade. Well, while we're waiting for it to play out, your final reminder, sign up for Public if you haven't already. I really, really think you're going to like it. In my opinion, my humble opinion, this is the best place to be an options trader. If you trade stock, there's no payment for order flow. Yes, there is crypto trading. Yes, they have AI enhancement to make your own ETFs. They have high yield accounts. They have retirement accounts. But the fact that you can earn rebates trading options, I know many of you watching this right now trade options. In my humble opinion, this is the place to be. Free to download, free to sign up, free for you to understand the lay of the land. And then I think you're going to understand why I choose to use it. And just to show you right here, I have 14K on this one. So a $30,000 position. And then this one's also a $30,000 position on SPY and QQQ. Speaking of that, this is not going well. Fuck. Do I just take this money and leave, or do I? Damn it. 97. Are they going to do me dirty? To clarify, I am not risking anything. My stop and my entry are at the same price. It's just more of the dopamine, greed, revenge trading issues of knowing you're up money, and then when you see yourself go back to break even, which, hey, it's at least better than going red, so I can't complain that much. Maybe I should move it one tick in my favor. All right, now I should at least pay for commissions. Oh, is it coming from me? I'm looking for a miracle here. We have a low. We have this low. I'm looking for a bounce somewhere in the 80s, the mid 80s right now, but Tesla's going. Tesla, save me. Tesla is ripping right now. Tesla, save me, buddy. Save me, Tesla. Palantir. NVIDIA, save me. I'm willing to be saved by any of these large tech plays at this point. Just keep going, brother. Just keep going. Dude, this is it's fucking coming for me again. I know I traded this properly, but like had I been a little bit more degenerate in either direction, it would have worked out. Whether that first one I just kept on because I would have gotten the fill at 95 and my stop would now be break even at 68, or on that same position when I was thinking about adding in, my average would have then been in the 40s. And even this, like I said, the fact that my stop's now actually in the money, good statistical chance I get knocked out and I get nothing from it. And on an individual trade, that's like a brutal thing to deal with. Especially, I feel so strongly at some point today these are going to fill, but it's just on that off chance that things turn. Yeah, it's coming for me. Son of a gun. Son of a gun. Shit. Market gods? Market gods, hear my prayer? Wow, that was really close. Are they just like fucking with me though? Just to give me this like sense of hope? No way did I invert it. Generally, I'm the guy who comes this close to getting my fill. What was that low? 79.25. I was off by half a point. It almost filled me by half a point. That's crazy. Generally, when I show you the half the point thing, it's where I'm not getting a fill. Or the market, no. They're saying, hey, man, you're getting too cocky. Fuck. This little 200 tick series here got me all excited. No. Fuck. Come on, bounce. And just to clarify, folks, my stop is above my entry price. I'm not risking any money. It is a free ride, but sometimes you just look over and you're like, yo, should I take this $4,000? When you're up 200... Yeah, it's fucking... It's
Order filled.
Son of a bitch. Yeah, break even. So, a little bit of slippage in there. Just not my day. Just not my day. Obviously, I didn't lose anything, and it's far worse to lose. But yeah, it even started to slice through this stuff, and you just don't know. Is it going for 72? And that's the beautiful thing about not only sim-to-funded trading, but specifically futures, is there's... Dude, the second time it just pops right away. Fuck. Can we see your profits for call options that expired 1024 and 1021? Well, the 1024 were gone, and the 1031 I already showed you, but that's for the Discord. The 1024 ones, which one were those? I don't really recall what the 1024s were because I got rid of those at the start of last week. Son of a gun. Fucking tag me out. Well, better than being red, I guess. Yeah, hey, these accounts are up $27. Oh, I forgot I have to deal with the slippage, or not the slippage, but the unrealized drawdown on those. Consolidating for a pop back up to all times. No, I deeply believe we're going to 900 today. I really do. It's just trying to do it in a way where you don't get clocked. It's just trying to do it in a way where you can, just in case you're wrong, like here, do I take advantage of this? This dip, this push? It's only 10 points. Dip, dip, dip. We have this V-shaped recovery. Oh. Yeah.
Order submitted.
When in Rome. All right, that's my last trade. This is just getting to a point where it's I just keep getting wicked out, and I feel like I'm just going to be susceptible to just getting too tilted. Some people are trying to sell at 91. Now, people are still selling at 900, but a lot less than before. This was deeply, deeply red before. Now it is not. How are we looking on options flow? Mag 7, Delta high. S&P 500 is popping ever since 1109. Here we go. It's trying to do something, actually. Yeah. All right, that's my final trade. Here, I guess I'll stay for a second. Piper just fired, though, so I'm going to give the Discord that. What is today? The 27th. Today's the 27th, right? Yeah. Should I just go to break even again? Dude, it just keeps happening to me. I'm trying to be smart and minimize my risk on every fucking trade, but anytime, like, I could have, if I was willing to take a couple points of heat, it would have worked. But I think that's the wrong takeaway, because sometimes the breakdown is a real breakdown. And if you're like, no, I'm just going to give it a couple points turn into a lot of points, and then that's how you blow out. But dealing with the ones that are just those like reversals, I now have a 15-point worse fill. It's frustrating. And I get it. I'm there with you guys. It's frustrating, but you have to always remember, even if it's a small percentage chance, sometimes those breakdowns, like when you have your stop at break even and it tags it, once in a while, depending on like what you trade, the odds are going to change one way or the other. It is the legitimate reversal. And if you're like, no, I'm just betting on it coming back, it could reverse enough that your account's just gone. Like, just completely gone. The reason... Oh, is this the higher low? I'm thinking about doing it again, just because like the last thing I need today after feeling like this is doing all these trades and then somehow going red. I'm actually thinking about, I mean, we're not even 10 points, so this would be hyper aggressive, but I could base it off that low. Come on. It got close. Come on. Don't do this to me again. Don't do this to me again. It got to 99.5 and I'm in at 900, off by half a point. What's your thoughts on AMC stock? I think if you invest in it, you're a retard. I think you're like actually mentally deficient if you think somehow it's a good investment. Fuck, dude. Is this going to be the second time this the 9th time this happens to me today? Well, it's going to be what it's going to be. It's good to be paranoid about stop loss and risk. Yeah, that's how you survive. It's just like, it's kind of counter to, I guess, like the gambling, whatever nature. Come on. Let's just hear that magic. Honestly, even if we do it, there's nothing going on because my stop's already break even. Yeah, there we go. Macarena. So no matter what, I'm making $275 per account today. Cool. And we're going to leave... where do I want to put this blow off top? 40? Okay. So we have a runner just in case this like really trends hard. But remember, most likely my stop at break even is going to get hit. And, I'll move it up to 88. All right. I am long at 87.25. My stop is at 88. And I just arbitrarily threw this runner like target in, but I'll handle that. If anything, I'm just going to keep moving my stop up higher and higher and higher as long as it trends. And if it stops trending, I'm out. But hey, worst case situation right here, the left column, not a bust of a day, about $275 per account, which is about 4 or 5K because I'm trading on these accounts. And then the bot stuff, one made 400, one made 195. There we go. There we go. And hopefully we can get going. All right, folks, I feel like absolute shit. So we're going to kill the show there. If you're in the Discord, I'm going to stop by and say hi to all of you guys. We'll be posting an update video later on today. Other than that, the trend's your friend. Even though it's painful, sometimes just you got to really pay attention to your risk. That is inherently always going to be the name of the game. It's just minimize risk, minimize risk, minimize risk. I appreciate all the good vibes. If you haven't already, sign up for Public. It is free for you to download. It is free for you to sign up. And when you get used to the platform, I think you're going to realize that is absolutely awesome. Once again, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. Use that link because you're going to start out at a higher rebate tier. So just to start earning more money more rapidly, make sure you use that link pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. I appreciate all the good vibes. I'll catch you later on today and then streaming once again tomorrow. Peace.